Well, I was all ready to start working on a new big project, but with my internet going down the shitter a few months ago, I couldn't even start downloading the games I needed for that. So I thought to myself, why not make a quick review? Fortunately, the month of July saw a bunch of smaller indie releases, one of them being Necropolis. And Necropolis is a very easy review to make, because it is so utterly putrid that after 5 minutes of playing, a list of issues had already formed in my head. Now, Necropolis is a roguelite action RPG with Dark Souls combat, meaning blocking and stamina management are essential and every swing is slow and deliberate. But comparing itself to Dark Souls really doesn't do the game any favors, because there are neither classes, nor magic, nor weapon variety, the animations lack detail and everything is extremely floaty. Also, in a Souls game you usually fight a few enemies at a time, but Necropolis just throws entire hordes at you the moment you enter a room. Combine that with the fact that dodging in this game doesn't go nearly as far and that heavy weapons easily knock opponents down, and it becomes apparent that the entire combat system is extremely skewed towards abusing weapons with wide heavy swings, and you might as well not bother with any other playstyle. But instead of adding up all these small complaints, I feel like we need to look at the bigger picture here. Why implement Souls-like combat in a procedurally generated dungeon crawler in the first place? I'd guess the answer isn't we thought it would add something to the experience, and rather, well, it's really popular right now. Because Necropolis is the game that finally made me realize how fucking boring Souls combat actually is. I mean, I was aware it's mostly dodging an attack, landing a few hits and rolling away again, but boil that down to the bare essentials like Necropolis does and it's eye-opening how tedious and samey every battle and every enemy type is. But the boring combat is really only half the issue here. It's the entire concept of Necropolis that is just flat out broken. Souls games are known to have very careful and thought out design of the various areas, weapon and enemy placements. What they lack in combat depth is made up for by memorable challenges like the sniping archers in Anor Londo, the traps in Zen's fortress, or the reviving skeletons in the catacombs. Or take the Black Knights in Undeadburg, who have been deliberately placed there as optional encounters you can fight right now or come back to later. That is a big part of what makes Souls engaging. So how is it not painfully obvious that the best way to destroy that particular design philosophy would be to take the entire combat engine and put it into a procedurally generated world? Now none of the areas or enemy placements are designed to provide a proper challenge, it's just randomly spawned generic bullshit. And even then Necropolis manages to constantly recolor the same few enemies. And the worst part of it all is that this is a roguelike, so you have to start from the very beginning every fucking time. Imagine if in Dark Souls, after dying in Blighttown, you'd respawn all the way back in Firelink Shrine with only your starting weapon, and now you have to wade through the entirety of Undeadburg again. Does that sound like a fun proposition? No, I didn't think so. The point I'm trying to make here is that Souls isn't Souls for the combat. Souls is Souls for the entire package, and the combat is more than anything a vehicle to immerse yourself into a world where everything is stacked against you and needs to be approached with caution. Take that system out of its intended context and make your game entirely about that combat, and all you get is a one-button spam fest. So I repeat what I said in my Lords of the Fallen review. Stop trying to copy from Souls when you're not willing to follow up with all the minute details that define that series. But even outside the gameplay, there really is no end to how awful Necropolis is. The soundtrack is so generic it might as well just not be there. The graphics are... I mean, just look at it. Everything consists of lifeless grey hallways. There's a complete lack of movement on every item drop animation, and objects seem to fall apart in different frame rates than the rest of the game. And just look at these jugs or my character's legs. Are we banking on some kind of hypothetical nostalgia for PS1 3D graphics here? Or is not having textures some kind of new art style I'm not aware of? I just don't get it. And the writing too is absolutely atrocious. Necropolis is one of those games, you know, one of those that tries to make every line of text an ironic joke and then fails miserably. And it's not only dialogue, it's even item descriptions, to the point where it actually feels like you're being mocked. The only thing on weapon tooltips, for example, is what tier the weapon's in and then some dumb flavor text. No specific damage values given whatsoever, even though comparable weapons seemingly do different damage. Same with the codex system, where you unlock items with rewards from earlier runs. A standard good idea for roguelikes nowadays, sure, but the descriptions range from "yeah, I think I can guess what this does" to "what on earth do you want from me?" One codex, for example, is named The Burly Ogre's Guide to Smashing Stuff, which, I mean, firstly, why? But apparently this gives me a heft bonus +1? And instead of telling me that, plus what exactly a heft bonus even is, the description reads: "Karma hit good, thing go down, you hit good, thing go down, good." Why? Why? Why is this game such a train wreck, and how did the same guys write Shadowrun Dragonfall? I just can't find any redeeming qualities about Necropolis whatsoever. Maybe it's fun in co-op, but that's true for just about everything. It's not enjoyable, it's not difficult, it looks and plays and is written like absolute shit. And I'm really sorry if this review isn't turning out to be some intricate analysis of how bad a game can possibly be. Once every few years you just come across something so mind-bogglingly awful it is almost offensive, and all you want to do is tell everyone to stay clear of it. 2 years ago it was Thief, now it is Necropolis. Keep the hell away from this game. BoukenJima signing out.